wrestling fans.
How you doing this evening, gentlemen?
Yeah. My botch, and I gotta apologize. I'm a little late this morning. My mother didn't.
Never give up. Never give up.
Yeah, John Cena, never give up.
Welcome to Strong Honor. My name is Tommy Stryker. I don't know what that little pause was about in the music there, but hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. This is Strong Honor, where we talk about New Japan and Ring of Honor Pro Wrestling. Joining me today is Taco.
What up?
And back with us after a recent hiatus due to liver issues.
How's your liver?
Associated with a faulty CPAP machine. Joe is finally back with us.
I am back.
And diarrhea.
I got the CPAP cleaning machine. It's super convenient. Cleans it every day without me even trying. I'm good now.
Awesome. Well, now we just got to work on that credit score of yours, and we'll be right back. We'll be peachy keen again.
I noticed that this week as well.
So many.
But since he got those HD glasses, his sight's been clear.
All right, that's enough bad Ring of Honor advertisement humor and inside jokes that nobody knows what we're talking about. There's a lot to talk about this week on Strong Honor. Best of the Super Juniors is starting on Friday, so we'll run down a full preview of that, talk about some exciting matches to look for in the next week or so. And I've got my full predictions made. How did you guys do in your predictions?
Oh, dude, I totally have going all the way.
Yeah.
I've been, I think it would be a very good matchup for the finals if
Indubitably.
So you guys got a couple of days yet to finish putting together your predictions for Best of the Super Juniors. As usual on this show, between the three of us, we'll have a little contest to see who has the best prediction bracket in the Best of Super Juniors. If you want to play along at home, that's fun too. Give yourself 1 point for a correct prediction, 0 points for an incorrect prediction, and then if you match the point totals correctly at the end of the tournament, give yourself 5 bonus points, and if you predict the A and B block winners, give yourself an extra 10 points and an extra 10 points for predicting the eventual winner of the whole fucking show. So yeah, we'll get into the Best of the Super Juniors. I want to talk about this Lionsgate show a little bit. We had some young Lions.
I've been hearing some rumbling about it
on NJPWWorld.com. I didn't talk about the last one at all. Got a chance to check out the Lionsgate show this week. Talk about that. I want to talk a little bit of Rev Pro this week. Their Epic Encounter show happened over the weekend. I didn't get a chance to see the entire thing, but there's a couple of highlight matches on there worth talking about that I did get a chance to see. Of course, we'll talk Ring of Honor TV, the War of the Worlds tour. Not going to go over everything from that tour, but there's some news coming out of the War of the Worlds tour that we'll talk about. And Taco and I, of course, attended the War of the Worlds show in Chicago, the TV tapings. We will remain spoiler-free on the TV tapings for now, but we'll talk about generally our experience there and get into all of that. Well, let's start right there, Taco, because I know this was your first ever Ring of Honor show.
Yeah, finally.
At the Odeum in Chicago for a TV taping. What were your thoughts on your first Ring of Honor experience?
It was surprisingly smaller yet bigger at the same time of what I was expecting. I wasn't sure quite how the crowd setup was going to be, and it was spacious. It was enough to kind of move around until you actually got into the crowd.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, and God, I was really kicking myself in the ass when we walked in. I saw a little streamer sitting on the table. I was like, motherfucker, should have got some of those. But yeah, it was just definitely minor things like that. It's like, all right, mental note, and everything. But yeah, it was definitely a cool experience. The crowd was hot. It's interesting to see like the bar wrestling atmosphere to this atmosphere compared to like the WWE atmosphere even.
Yeah.
It's very cool, and yeah, the fucking fans they're fun. Wrestlers just walking around like normal, doing their thing, working hard too. Like constant meet and greets, or just the Kingdom ran by me running to the merch booth or whatever to chill there for a bit, probably cutting promo or something. I don't know. I didn't follow them. I was whatever. But yeah, no, it was cool. I dug it. I definitely want to check out more.
Yeah, I had a good time. I don't know if I'll go back to Chicago for another TV taping. I was excited when the tickets for this came out because of what happened last year in Chicago with the Kenny Omega coming to town for Ring of Honor and coming from New Japan or whatever. So I was hoping that they would really stack the card up and have a big, exciting show like they did last time. They didn't have that. It was not a sold-out show, but it was a fun atmosphere, and we got to sit third row. I got tickets early enough, so that was a cool experience, sitting third row.
You got the tickets, too. I wasn't expecting TV tapings, too. I thought it was just part of the big tour, and so it was probably maybe a month ago that was like, oh fuck, it's TV tapings. All right, see how. So that was interesting to see how they do that whole TV taping series too, and how kind of out of order the events are, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they edit that now on TV.
Absolutely, yeah, because it seemed like they announced 4 TV main events, so apparently they taped 4 weeks worth of TV there. I don't know if we're gonna start getting those next week because they got another set of TV tapings in early June in New York, I believe. So I imagine they're going to be getting to those pretty soon coming up on Ring of Honor TV. So look for Taco. He was the only one in the crowd that brought a Vinny Marseglia signature red balloon with him. So he had that popping up once in a while. So starting next week, possibly start looking for Taco in the crowd and me sitting next to him going apeshit for Naito and other Ring of Honor and New Japan stars. It was a good time, but again, after the last experience in Chicago, this one for Ring of Honor, I might be done going to Chicago for Ring of Honor unless they announce something big again. But I'm definitely going back to Chicago for All In. We gotta before we get to Best of Super Juniors, might as well talk about this right off the top because that's huge news.
Yeah,
All In selling out in a half hour. This is a really cool story. So Taco and I were in the car. We tune into the press conference. Taco's sitting shotgun. We're driving through Wisconsin at this point
with a shotgun.
And he dials up the All-In press conference on his phone. We find out the big news that Cody is going to be challenging for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship at All-In. So now all kinds of people are speculating, is it still going to be Nick Aldis? What if Flip wins the NWA Championship and that's his in to All-In? So lots of fun speculation going on there. And then we also found out, of course, that Rey Mysterio Jr. is going to be All-In. So cool stuff from the press conference. So we're driving through Wisconsin. Press conference happens. A couple hours later, tickets go on sale. So it's about 5 minutes before tickets go on sale. We go through a toll booth on I-90 down there. So we decide to pull over because tickets are going to go on sale. This is a good spot to pull over.
We got some lot lizards.
We did not. So we get dialed into the website, get ready to go. I wish I would have set up an account on the Sears Centre website in the minutes we were waiting for the tickets to go on sale. So we get into the waiting room. I get a ticket picked out. Apparently I can't grab anything from the floor. I'm trying to grab floor seats. Nothing's there. I ended up getting something out of the stands, but then it's like, well, sign into your account. I don't have an account. Click on new account. That throws me back to the waiting room. It's all over the place. Finally, about a half hour into fucking around with this website, I end up getting a ticket
on my phone,
on Taco's phone, because Taco, and so that was a crazy experience. So I was one of the lucky ones to get a ticket. This thing, going to a sellout shortly after I got my ticket. A lot of people upset because it was the secondary ticket market, these scalpers that bought the tickets. I heard
it wasn't that bad. There was a couple of reports. Was like, if you look on there's not that many listed as you would a normal wrestling event. So it does sound like a lot of fans were able to get through. It just sounds like when I was just kind of looking, you were trying to buy your tickets, browsing through Twitter, everyone that was kind of screenshotting all had like desktop browsers and everything going, and there's very few mobile phone screenshots. So it's like, I think some computers are getting through easier than the mobile phones were too, and everything. So
interesting.
But it's sold out. The scalper is going to be part of the game, and it's yeah, they're asking stupid prices right now, but those are going to go down.
Those will go down the closer they get to the event, I'm sure. But it's tough because a lot of people are planning on traveling in from even further distances than we are for this. People are flying in from all around the world, so it's going to be tough to get those tickets right away. But yeah, hopefully they'll be able to get better prices on those going forward if I maintain this positive attitude. But yeah, really cool though that thing got sold out so quick. I mean, they were expecting to sell a few 4,000 or 5,000 and within the first week or something like that. So they were blown away. If you watch Being the Elite this week, they're in the car on the way to the Odeum, the Ring of Honor show, trying to buy tickets themselves. They're stuck in the waiting room, same as Taco and I were. So yeah, crazy. Just a fun. And the fun part also about the story is so we pull over at right outside the toll booth there to get the tickets. Finally get the ticket. Takes a half hour. We start driving again. Turns out we were about 5 minutes away from the Sears Centre itself. We could have just drove to the Sears Centre and walked up to the box office. Maybe that would have been a better idea. But that was kind of fun too. Just being in Chicago. It's too bad we weren't able to get down there for the press conference. I ended up working late on Saturday night, so we're like, well, fuck it, we'll just go on Sunday morning and make it to the show. So that didn't work out, making it to the press conference. Even if we'd have gotten there by noon, we probably wouldn't have been one of the 50 people.
Yeah, the line seemed pretty long.
Yeah, because they only let like 50 fans into the thing anyway. So
in a hallway.
We probably would have had to get there at 6 in the morning or something, and that just wasn't going to happen.
Well, so Popeye's chicken across the street.
Yeah, we could have hung out there and had some grub or whatever. All right, fuck this. Let's get into the not fuck this. I'm really excited for All In. I got my ticket, the lower bowl, so that is really cool. Nice. And we are efforting. We are putting in. I don't want to talk about it. There might be some interesting things on the horizon, but I'm not gonna float anything out there just yet. We got some feelers out there. I'll just say that. So let's move on. Let's talk New Japan this week.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Best of the Super Juniors preview. That thing's starting up this Friday. Just first of all, I know you guys haven't made your official
keep bringing it up
predictions, but just kind of off the top of your head, who are kind of your favorites? Who are you thinking about as far as picking a winner in this thing?
It's fucking tough this time around because still, looking at the B block, still the biggest name that sticks out to me is someone like Kushida.
Right.
And you look on the other side, you got fucking Marty Scurll there too, or Will Ospreay. So, it's like those are the two names that kind of stick out to me. But with all this hype going in with Ishimori, I kind of want to see him do well. Not necessarily the finals, but I want to see him kind of do well in it. And at the same time, too, Roppongi 3K, more and more I watch them, more and more I enjoy watching these guys, and I'm really curious to see what they do individually.
Yeah, Sho has looked really good in the Roppongi 3K faction. I think he's got a little more upside of the two in Roppongi 3K, but I really think the story in Best of Super Juniors for those two is going to be those two battling the junior heavyweight champions right now, Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado. I think they're going to probably get some victories over those guys leading into a rematch because those guys, Sho and Yo, they lost the championships to those guys, and then they were the Suzuki Gun guys have been battling Hiromu and Bushi most recently, and so now I think it's going to be Sho and Yo. Sho and Yo have been getting a little bit of a push going against Suzuki Gun on the Dantaku shows and the Road 2 shows. Those guys were facing off with other members of Suzuki Gun, getting some surprise wins in there with the quick win over Iizuka and continually thwarting the iron fingers of Iizuka a couple of times on those shows. Joe, what are your thoughts on guys coming out of this?
I know Kenny Omega, he was the first Westerner to win the G1, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Has any Westerner ever won the Best of the Super Juniors in that mind? Because, I feel like it's way more of a possibility, obviously, just with how many people are in this. But, I feel like Flip Gordon's going to have a really good showing in this. I feel like with the relationship between Ring of Honor and New Japan and the fact that it's almost like sending Flip on excursion to Japan to come back to even Ring of Honor. So, I would love to see Flip Gordon do really well. I also see I also see Chris Sabin. Like, I think he could do really well in the tournament. He's proved before he can go with some of the best, especially with the Super Juniors. So, but like really that last night, I think it was Flip Gordon versus Will Ospreay. Like, I think that match is going to, it's the only one I think could possibly go to a draw.
Ooh, that's interesting there. Yeah, I've got some interesting picks here, and you guys are going to get...
Ricochet in 2014 win it.
Okay, there you go, yeah.
There we go.
But you guys are going to get
I was going to bring up,
Go ahead.
El Desperado had a phenomenal one last year, too, and no one was expecting that, so he has a lot of hype to live up to. He's a champ.
Even a guy like Taguchi shows up in the best of the Super Junior.
Yeah.
He does his goofy stuff, but he can really turn it on and have some very good matches for this thing. So
yeah, throw in ACH too.
ACH is another name that sticks out. That he had a pretty good year last year. So you guys are going to get a thumb up or an advantage, I suppose, in your predictions because you're going to hear.
This is our game plan the whole time.
Going to hear what my predictions are. So this will
it works every time.
But kind of what I did is I looked at what's going on the final night of the tournament.
It's usually the big night,
but also the opening couple of nights tell a story as well. But the big matches from the final night and the final night of the A and B block competition, June 3rd. It's going to be 8 matches, both blocks, so that's pretty cool. So in the A block, like you said, Flip Gordon's going to be facing Will Ospreay, and then on the other side, in the B block, Kushida is going to be facing Hiromu Takahashi. And those are kind of the big ones there, in my opinion. And then night one... night 1 and 2, I should say. Night 1, Ospreay is going to face Taiji Ishimori. So a lot of people are already predicting Ishimori to win the thing because that's the natural story coming out of what happened at Dontaku with Ishimori making his first appearance with Tamatanga and attacking Will Ospreay. So, that's the natural story. He attacked Will Ospreay, so he's got to win Best of Super Juniors and go on to challenge him at Dominion. I think that's the most natural story, but they could also just have Ishimori beat him here, and then he could get a rematch down the road for the championship.
And that's also kind of, minor, but also one of those feel-good stories for the Bullet Club at the moment. If you can get some kind of, gold going their way and get someone to win a cup like that. I'm talking like the Bad Luck Fale side of the Bullet Club, not the America side, drama side going on. Yeah, so I kind of look at it like that, too, if that was be able to pull off.
All right, so here's kind of what I'm thinking as far as my predictions go. So in the A block, I've got Taiji Ishimori going all the way, getting the big win coming out of that block. And he's actually, I'm going to go ahead and predict him to win the tournament and challenge. So I'm going, even though I'm kind of poo-pooing everybody's saying, well, he's the natural guy to go on and win. But I think it makes the most sense coming out of the A block. Ospreay is already the current champion. I've got Ospreay predicted to have 2 losses, one to Taiji Ishimori on the opening night, and then on the final night, I've got him losing to Flip. But Flip I've only got at 10 points, so Flip and Ospreay are going to be tied at 10 points, but Ishimori is going to have the tiebreaker over Ospreay and getting Ishimori to 12 points in my bracket. So that would give him the win of the tournament. So then you've got Flip going to be able to challenge Ospreay for the championship somewhere along the way if Ospreay retains at Dominion, which I believe he will. I believe they're going to build up Ishimori in the tournament, have him get the big win of the tournament, but then have Ospreay. Ishimori will beat him opening night of the tournament, then Will Ospreay will beat him in the rematch at Dominion for the championship, I believe. But I like a guy like Flip getting a rare win over the champion, and then being able to, maybe they'll do Flip versus Ospreay at the Cow Palace show as a possibility, which I think that would put a few butts in some seats. That might be a pretty good option there. I got ACH at 8 points, not in the running. I don't have a lot of wins for Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Bushi. Again, I think their thing with Sho and Yo is a bit of a story there. And then coming out of the B block, I got a really interesting situation going on there. And again, what I did is I went through chronologically with what was going on the final night. I kept that in mind, but I kind of went through with just kind of how I felt about the matches as they were booked out chronologically on the calendar of the matches. So I ended up with a 3-way tie between Kushida, Marty Scurll, and Hiromu Takahashi. Now, part of kind of the fan in me, and I feel like there's a little bit of steam from the Westerners. They want to see Hiromu kind of back in that title picture, but he's kind of been a back burner guy right now. And I feel like a lot of the steam is behind Kushida. So between those three that I got in the 3-way tie, Marty Scurll, Hiromu Takahashi, and Kushida, I got Kushida winning because I've got Taguchi beating Marty Scurll and Hiromu in both upsets. Okay. And so, but Kushida has the win over Taguchi, so he has the tiebreaker. And so that's how I booked the thing. It's a little bit Russo-y.
My botch.
I admit, but that's just kind of how it ended up working out when I.
Well, it keeps those three guys at that level too, because they're that constant feud going on. And
right.
What is Vince Russo trying to say right there?
I don't remember. He was trying to say someone's name, but I just isolated the part where he says my botch. So I don't remember what name it was, but
that's awesome. It's been bugging me for a while.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And I gotta apologize. My botch.
So those are I got Kushida and Ishimori in the another reason I like Kushida in the finals as opposed to like a Hiromu. Kushida feels more like a natural babyface in this situation. He just had the match with Will Ospreay, great match, and he had the crowd on his side in that match too.
That's what I was saying earlier though. Is like he's really the only name that sticks out on that block on winning it to me. It's like I don't want to see that again.
But I don't. I think he'll win the block, but I think Ishimori goes on to win the tournament, and so. But I think you're right, though. I think a lot of people are kind of clamoring to see Hiromu back in that spot. But Hiromu and Ospreay just had a match not that long, just a few months ago, too. So it'd be maybe a little soon to bring that match up.
That and I have been enjoying his Ring of Honor work lately, anyways.
Yeah, and Marty Scurll is another name too. Ring of Honor's building him up for the championship match against Dalton Castle, which is looking like it's going to be a 3-way. That's where all things. Well, in fact, it's a bit of a spoiler from the TV tapings almost, but they haven't gotten to it quite on Ring of Honor TV as of yet. But that's something that they're definitely building up Scurll for. Is the championship match at Best in the World?
And I think they even mentioned that on TV this week.
Well, they're building up to it in their little promos or whatever, because Cody is saying that he's going to challenge Dalton Castle, and Marty Scurll's like, well, I'm the one that rightfully has the shot. I've earned the shot. You haven't earned the shot. I've earned the shot. So there's tension now between Cody and Scurll, but I don't think they've officially announced it yet. So, well, those are my predictions anyway. So let's talk about some of the highlight matches.
Wait, who did he say he was going to have win, Joe? Just got to jot this down real quick.
Yeah, just real quick.
I got Ishimori winning the tournament.
He's wrong. Don't worry.
Everything clear.
He's wrong.
Yeah, it certainly could be. Scurll could be they could book Ospreay to win the whole damn thing and just
funky weapon.
Book a strong champion. Maybe he wins it, but has one loss in there to somebody, and he takes on that guy. There's also some talk because Rey Mysterio Jr. has been announced for Dominion. Maybe Will Ospreay runs the table, wins the Super Juniors tournament, and then goes on to challenge Rey Mysterio because he doesn't have an announced opponent either for Dominion. So that's certainly a possibility as well. So this first week of Best of Super Juniors, go over some highlight matches coming up. So opening night, the 18th, this is Friday. A block match, ACH versus Flip Gordon. That should be pretty dang good. 2 high flyers there. And then main event, of course, Will Ospreay versus Ishimori, the Bone Soldier.
Get that out of the way right away.
Exactly. I mean, they did the angle at Dontaku. Now we're coming back with the match right away, first night of Best of Super Juniors. So
it feels like Ishimori has to win that, though.
That's the thing. Is it kind of does, because if Will Ospreay beats him, I mean, Will Ospreay could beat him first night, but then maybe Ishimori goes on a fucking run, wins the tournament anyway, and then it's like, ooh, Will Ospreay already won the first match. It's got to be Ishimori winning it, and then Will Ospreay wins again. again, that's a possibility too. And if they have two epic matches, I don't think Ishimori would lose anything, especially if he has a big push going on throughout their tournament. So we're working ourselves into a lather here. These matches could go either way. But yeah, night 2 from the 19th on Saturday, Kushida's going to face off with Chris Sabin. I think that's a really interesting match here because it's Chris Sabin's debut, or I don't know if he's been to New Japan before, but he certainly hasn't since I've been watching New Japan for several years. So does Chris Sabin get a big win against the former ace of the junior division, Kushida, there? And then Hiromu Takahashi's taking on Marty Scurll on Saturday.
Nice.
Sunday, May 20th, ACH versus Will Ospreay. That's the new Ospreay and Ricochet matchup, in my opinion. Two just phenomenal high flyers there. And then from the 22nd on Tuesday, they take a couple of days off between Sunday, Monday there, or between Sunday and they take Monday off is what I'm trying to say. They come back Tuesday with Kushida versus Marty Scurll. That should be a pretty good match. So that's the first week. The next match after that, or the next day of matches, will be Thursday, so we'll talk about those.
That Takahashi Desperado match has a lot of potential, too, there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing is, I didn't bring up the Desperado matches and those guys because,
Dragon Lee.
Dragon Lee is going to have some great matches throughout the thing, but again, early on, it's, Dragon Lee versus Sho, Dragon Lee versus Taguchi. They'll be good matches, but not like highlight matches. So, there's some really interesting stuff throughout the tournament. So some of these are going to be live. Not a ton of these are going to have. I think the only one with English commentary is probably going to be like the final couple of nights. So there's that. But a lot of these will be live. Some of these will be just video on demand after the fact, after they already happened. So they'll just probably post the individual instead of the full card with undercards. It'll just be.
I like that setup, kind of.
Right. And in a lot of cases, it'll just be like a 2-camera shoot, like a hard cam, and then if they go outside the ring, they'll have one camera that zooms in on the action. That's what they did for the no commentary at all. And so that's what they did for that's what they do for those Young Lions shows, the Lionsgate shows. So speaking of which, let's get into that this week. We haven't talked the Young Lions in quite a while, and they had a show on the 15th. And again, nothing to write home about here. Nothing like, oh my God, you gotta go see this. But I mean, if you like New Japan and you like that style and you like seeing these young guys develop and come up, this is some cool stuff. This is it's neat. Again, nothing. If your plate is full and you got no fucking time, I understand. And I'm actually kind of baffled I had time for this week, but I managed to get. And it's a short show too. This is like an hour and a half. So opening match was the two newest Young Lions, Yuya Uemura. He's the more athletic looking of the two, and Yota Tsuji. He's slightly bigger, but I think both of these guys are kind of being groomed for being heavyweights coming out of their Young Lion ship or whatever. They go to a 10-minute draw again. Tsuji's on top with the Boston Crab as they go to the draw. Take some cheap shots after the match. Uemura makes his recovery to get some more cheap shots on the other guy, so they get in each other's faces a little bit, but they take some bows to the audience as well after the match. Tomoyuki Oka takes on Manabu Nakanishi. No chest bump dance here. They just faced off with each other. Of course, Nakanishi gets the win with the lariat and a torture rack submission. Oka gets an early tackle on Nakanishi, but Nakanishi comes back with chops, takes the brawl outside. But Oka does hit a really nice standing suplex on Nakanishi. Like, hitting a standing suplex on Nakanishi. Yeah. That's kind of cool from a guy like Oka. So that was pretty neat. Tenzan and a guy from another promotion, Saito, took on Ren Narita and Taguchi. This was kind of funny because Tenzan and Saito got the win. Tenzan submitted Narita in the end of it, but Taguchi in his post-match promos for this are up on YouTube, which is kind of cool. But Taguchi cuts a post-match promo like he's a Young Lion. In the thing, he's like, "Oh, I lost to Saito. I was hoping to counter his Senton, I couldn't do it. I have a lot to learn. I need to work hard going forward and be better in the future. So I thought that was kind of because all of the Young Lions promos are that like, they're frustrated that they lost and I'm going to do better. I'm going to try harder.
Did he wrestle like a young lion?
And so it was typical Taguchi in the match. He wasn't pulling out Boston crabs and shit like that, but it was kind of fun though.
But he was pulling Boston crabs out of his drawers though, like his trousers.
Exactly. Then the big one, Daisuke Sakimoto coming in from Big Japan to face Shota Umino, son of Red Shoes, top prospect in the Young Lions right now. They're really pegging this guy to be, a big star coming out of these Young Lions. Going to be a heavyweight eventually. He's got a really good look right now. And of course, Sakimoto wins with this running lariat. Umino tries to be aggressive early in the match, but Sakimoto puts him in his place, beats the shit out of the Young Lion for being so damn aggressive, and of course gets the win. But really good selling and fighting spirit from Umino. It's awesome. He's going to be really good. Just fighting from underneath like that. He's already got that side of it down, which I think was really good. And then Sakimoto really puts him over after the match, saying, "Yeah, this guy's going to be good. Stay tuned." Cool. So I thought that was really cool. But then Sakimoto also talking to the assembled media. He's a Big Japan guy. He's like, "Are you going to come back to New Japan? Are you going to be a New Japan star?" He's like, "Well, if the schedule permits, but Big Japan is where I fight my battles." So, and that's kind of been a story here too with Taiji Ishimori recently coming over from Noah. He basically asked for his release from Noah so he could go to America and pursue a WWE thing. But here he is showing up in New Japan now, being part of the Bullet Club. He's obviously a full-time New Japan guy now. So it's in Japan, it's really controversial to jump ship from one promotion to another. You're supposed to be loyal to the promotion that brought you up, made you who you were, and so him doing that is him kind of doing it in a roundabout way, doing some stuff with Impact,
having a cup of coffee with them,
and he did some stuff WrestleMania weekend. But Daisuke Sakimoto, a Big Japan guy, he was doing stuff WrestleMania weekend too, showing up for Evolve and stuff like that. But
times are changing in the wrestling world right now, though. It's keep up or ship out.
Yeah. But Sakimoto in his post match saying, "No, I'm just doing this as this is a fun thing that I get to do, but Big Japan is where I fight my battles." So I thought that was
very cool.
That was cool. Then the main event, Yuji Nagata taking on a Kaientai Dojo young man. Although he's an older young lion for the Kaientai Dojo. He's like 27 or 28. I think
old fuck.
Nagata talked about it in his post match. Ayato Yoshida, I believe, is the name there. A good match between these two, and the story here was Nagata just putting him over big in his post match promo, saying, this guy, he's got some big potential. He could be like an Okada. So him kind of bringing that comparison into it, but then again saying, he's a bit older. He's 26, 27, so he's really got to step his game up. But again, I thought this was a decent match here, but I liked the Umino match a little bit better, which is him showing the fighting spirit and that. And of course, I'm a little more invested.
I was going to say, you like Umino a lot.
and again, he's a New Japan guy, so I'm going to be more invested in a guy like him. So
it's interesting they're bringing in those outside sources like that.
Excuse me, yeah. They do for these Lionsgate shows. They've been doing that. It's kind of been a showcase of not only New Japan Young Lions, but they'll bring in they've brought in All Japan guys, Kaientai Dojo guys, Big Japan, and then they'll bring in some of the legacy stars from those promotions because that's what it's all about. It's either Young Lions versus Young Lions or Young Lions versus veterans, and the veterans just beating the shit out of the young. Yep, you got to earn your respect, you son of a bitch, and we're gonna slap you in the face, and you're gonna submit. You're gonna so and then
feed them to the sharks,
and then the Young Lions are humble in the back in their promos, and that's what it's all about, man. And
hell yeah.
I really wish there's a couple of videos up on njpwworld.com with the newest Young Lions, and they're just doing interviews with them, and they're in suits or whatever, but they're not translated. I'm like, I need to see what these guys are saying, but it's probably just the most.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. I'm working very hard, and I want to be the best someday.
This is an honor.
I'm sure that's all it is, but I'm like, ooh, I want to see that too. So hopefully, maybe they'll put those up at some point. But again, I'm sure it's more of the same probably from those Young Lions. All right, moving on. I want to talk just a little bit about this Rev Pro show from the 13th. I only got a chance to see a couple 3 matches on this, but this is a loaded show. Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki defend the tag titles. Didn't get a chance to see that. The Chosen Bros, Jeff Cobb and Matt Riddle, are in a tag match on the show. Josh Bodum versus Fred Yehi is a match I want to see. I believe that's for the cruiserweight, British cruiserweight title. I believe. I'm not sure on that one. But some really good matches that I want to see there. But I want to talk the 3+ stars matches that I saw on this show. The opening match was Adam Brooks versus Shane Strickland. Hell of an opener. Nice. Shane Strickland, the international king of swerve. He really lives up to that gimmick because at one point you think he's going one way and he goes the other. You know, I've been a Shane Strickland fan for about a year or so now. Him having a great showing in Lucha Underground as Kill Shot has been really cool. And then I got to see him in AAW in Chicago, which was awesome. So he's a guy that's really on the rise in his career.
Fuck yeah, he is.
Recently had a good match here. Adam Brooks continued his win streak with a top rope swanton bomb. Good mix of technical and lucha style from Strickland early in the match. Brooks cuts off. Brooks is a classic heel in the match. He's doing the eye rake on the ropes. Does an eye poke in front of the referee or whatever in the match, which is it's kind of indie-rific, but it's classic heel style. But my favorite thing that
I love the eye rakes on the ropes.
My favorite thing that he did to cut him off. So we've all seen the spot where the babyface is coming in from the outside on the apron, and the heel kicks the middle rope into his dick or whatever. And, that's that. But he did something really unique here. So Strickland is standing on the apron facing the ropes, and Adam Brooks grabs the middle rope from the inside of the ring, pulls it towards himself, and lets the rope go right into his dick.
Oh, damn.
So I hadn't seen that spot before, or at least not in a really long time. So I thought that was a pretty cool way to cut the guy off.
That is cool.
Start getting some heat on him. Strickland does a big double stop to counter some. He counters a fireman's carry into a double stomp. I thought, that was insane. Then he does a double stomp from like the top rope to the Adam Brooks being draped over the guardrail on the floor.
Oh shit!
Then hits a top rope double stomp back in the ring for a near fall. So a bunch of double stomps. Adam Brooks hits a late low blow behind the referee and. A big Canadian destroyer on the apron right after the low blow. Wow. That kind of leads to the finish, him hitting the big swanton bomb Adam Brooks does to get the win. So 3.5 stars, I thought. Just a shade under 4. You know, it would have been, I think it would have been a better a better quote star rating if there was more on the line, like a championship in a bigger spot. Sure. But it was just kind of 2 guys in an opening match. So
that's the opener.
Yeah, that was the opening match. Then, a surprise match for me. I almost skipped over it. But it was Ospreay versus... Oh, fuck. I believe it's... hang on, I got to get his name. I wrote Ospreay versus Young Boy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Nope, I got it here. El Phantasmo versus Will Ospreay.
Oh.
And I in my notes, I wrote Ospreay versus Young Boy. So it's this El Phantasmo guy... Young, athletic-looking dude, and a very athletic guy, high-flying style. Great matchup for Will Ospreay.
Cool.
Never seen this guy, never heard of this guy before, ever. And I wrote Ospreay versus Young Boy because that was the story of the match. It was like the guy goes to shake Ospreay's hand at the beginning. Ospreay refuses, kicks his hand away. Fuck you! You got to earn my respect, motherfucker. And it was just like what I was talking about in these Lionsgate shows. Ospreay is playing the role of the veteran heel or whatever, but doing it in a way that's still so fucking Will Ospreay. The guy tries to get cocky and mock Will Ospreay with the backflip pose. Ospreay fucking one-ups him in that department early on, and then it's all about Ospreay just beating this guy down and beating him and beating him and beating him. But this guy making comebacks and comebacks and comebacks. He does the multiple cheeky Nando's kicks in the corner, just kicking the guy's face in like he did with the Kushida match from a year ago.
Yeah.
From like the Best of Super Super Juniors finals. He does that. He does so much to just beat the snot out of this guy, but this guy's showing the hope and having the fighting spirit. It just really put this guy fucking over.
Cool.
Of course, Ospreay gets the win with the Os Cutter and the Stormbreaker, but there were multiple attempts to get in the Os Cutter earlier in the match. He tries for the Stormbreaker. The guy counters it with all kinds of... It's just insane. I gave this match 4 stars, and I'd never heard of this dude before. So I just thought it was a really great match.
Awesome.
And then the main event, Tomohiro Ishii defending the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship versus the outgoing Keith Lee. Keith Lee is on his way to NXT. He's on his final indie run. These two had a phenomenal match back in November, and wow, they really... I mean, here's the thing. I honestly thought it was too much. Like they get to this at one point Ishii, the story of the first one was, can Ishii finally hit the Brain Buster? At one point in the match, Ishii battles and hits a standing top rope Brain Buster on Keith fucking Lee. I'm like, that's it. That's the end of the fucking match. And Keith Lee kicks out.
Wow.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then they keep going and they go some more and they go some more and eventually they get into this back and forth. It's fucking crazy. They're kicking out like Ishii is no-selling German suplexes. They're kicking out on 1 counts late in the match. I'm like, this is it. This is, and it honestly, it got to the point. It's too much. I was, my disbelief, my suspension of disbelief was. I was like, they've kicked out on 1 of too many things, and it took it down for me. Like, but it was, but for some, I could see other people just going ape shit over this.
For
thing.
sure, just keeping that vibe going for his exit.
This one I had to stick just under 4 stars, 3 3/4, just because it was so much. But I can understand their mentality too, because that match from October or November, or whatever it was, got such hype. Well, we have to top that. How do we top that?
Right.
Well, we'll just fucking go balls out, and by the end of the match, we'll just no-sell everything and fucking kick out on 7 different
Hey, if
times.
there's 2 guys to do it, those are the 2 guys.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck. I mean, Keith Lee hits a last ride power bomb for a last ride fucking power bomb
On Ishii.
On Ishii. You know, Lee,
this guy's gonna destroy NXT.
Keith Lee hits a second rope superplex on Ishii. That's when the series of no cells goes into this thing. Early in the match, Keith Lee is hitting Hurricane Ranas, and he does a leap. He does a leapfrog drop kick at one point. It's just fucking insane shit from Keith Lee.
Keep my eyes peeled for this match.
So,
Fuck.
yeah, it was a hell of a match. Subscribe to Rev Pro's on demand thing. Just do a Google. It's $8.50 to subscribe for a month. Well worth the price of admission for this show in and of itself. So check that out for sure. I need a break. Hang on.
Take a breather, man. Take a breather. It's okay. You're all Keith Lee. It just gets you all
Just hyping up that match, the Ishii.
Yeah, just insane stuff there. So lots of fun. Let's talk some Ring of Honor now. The big weekend for Ring of Honor between the War of the Worlds shows and the TV tapings that Taco and I attended. Again, we're going to remain spoiler-free on what happened in the TV tapings. We'll address those shows as they come out.
Flip Gordon flips. Oh, shit, sorry. Flip that up.
What did you say? I didn't.
Flip Gordon flips.
Oh, yes, exactly. Oh, sorry, spoiler
way.
So let's talk this week's Ring of Honor TV first, because technically, chronologically, that's how it happened. And then we'll kind of get into what stuff happened on the War of the Worlds shows. Again, I'm not going to go over everything. It's out there. The stuff's on Honor Club if you want to see it. Again, not a ton newsworthy, but I think there is some newsworthy stuff.
I was able to check out the Royal Oak show.
Okay, cool. But this week's Ring of Honor TV opened with Kelly Klein versus Madison Rayne. The Kelly Klein push continues. She gets the win with the knockout knee. I'm not a fan of Kelly Klein yet. She's just still...
I'm with you 100%.
She's still a little too green. I thought Madison Rayne looked like the better wrestler here. But they're trying something, and I guess good for them. Taco,
I like what she's got. It's just
it's unrefined. Yeah,
it's just putting the right people around her, and they got to get some more of these seasoned vets, and
and they're trying that,
and they definitely are, and I think being surrounded with that, she's gonna definitely be one of the top female forces for Ring of Honor, and definitely. Like I said earlier, ship up, shape, or get the fuck out.
Well, and what I was going to say is, if you're going to have the nickname the Gatekeeper, I mean, just she just doesn't live up to that name in my mind. I mean, every match I've seen, it's like little sprints here and there that are okay, but like there's been a lot of, like you said, she's very green. You can see it.
Yeah.
You can't call her the gatekeeper of, ring Women of Honor.
It's a good gimmick, and and she plays the character well. Like, she has good facials. She has the body type to be able to do that. But there's something about the gear itself that could probably be changed. Maybe get some knee pads and some real wrestling boots. That might help as well. But then, she just has to get better in the ring. Once the bell rings and she's running around in there, it's like, oh, what's going on here? So there's that going on. SoCal Uncensored cut a promo. They're going to defend their 6-man titles versus Bullet Club next week. And this is an issue based on what happened this weekend on the War of the Worlds tour. So we'll get to that in a moment here. Jay Lethal vows to get his win back over Punishment Martinez. They're going to have a match next week. So this actually begs the question, or not begs the question, that it's quite obvious. Next week is going to be more stuff from Stage AE in Pittsburgh. So we won't get Taco and his balloon on TV next week. We're going to have to wait a couple of weeks.
A few listeners are like, it was that asshole.
Then we had the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Dogs. This one started off with the Motor City Machine Guns kind of talking to the crowd, saying everybody's unsure if we're going to stay together, but we're going to be brothers forever, that kind of thing. So not necessarily breaking up, but kind of teasing the idea of going off and doing singles stuff. Of course, you got Chris Sabin going off to New Japan to compete in Best of Super Juniors, but they didn't talk about that here. But Motor City Machine Guns get a nice win over the Dogs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just a send-off for the Detroit crowd, just giving them the greatest hits of Motor City Machine Guns.
Pittsburgh.
Was it?
This was in Pittsburgh.
Oh, for some reason I thought they were.
They might have had a rematch in.
You were just talking about Royal
in Detroit.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Nope, just got confused with the venues.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want them to break up, but I also understand if they do. They're both decent singles wrestlers. We've seen it out of both of them, and like you said, with Chris Sabin over in the Best of the Super Juniors, I think he's going to have a really good run. He's not going to win it, but
Taco, what was your favorite promo of the show? Was it Marty Scurll, Cody, and Hangman Page talking about their match coming up with SoCal Uncensored, or was it Punishment Martinez roaring?
God, I fucking don't have an answer because I fast forward through all those.
Well, Joe, what's your opinion of the roaring from Punishment Martinez?
I mean, it gets the point across.
I'm going to go with the roaring because I'm on this Punishment Martinez train right now.
Well, and it's a decent roar. It's a solid roar.
Please tell me you sound clipped it.
I didn't.
Son
I didn't.
of a bitch.
I was too busy rolling my eyes at it, to be quite honest with you. But I like him in the ring. I like he's improving. It's kind of the opposite of Kelly Klein. I don't like the gimmick, but I like what he's doing in the ring. He's improving in that. His body looks good. The gear's on point. It's just when he's doing these.
It's not all of the gimmick for me. It's just like you just said, what we just talked about, the roaring. He had that sit-down interview like a couple weeks ago that me and Taco were talking about. We got to hear him talk. He has the voice to just sound intimidating when he just says normal sentences. He says, "Have a nice day," and people are freaking out.
I should get some Punishment talking seriously audio. That
Punishment talk.
It's just so much better. So
maybe just him roaring.
Take away that stupid mysticism, Take away that part of the character. Just make him that big, tall, scary dude.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that. But Taco,
he can even keep the makeup.
Taco, you like a good gimmick though.
I do like the gimmicks when they're, portrayed right, and he's definitely one of those guys I first looked at, and he had that gimmick. It's like, nope. And then, that awful storyline just dragged out with BJ Whitmore and
at least I want to give him credit for getting away from that.
Exactly.
Rather quickly.
They realized
that was over a year ago.
That was another thing.
That was
it was a while ago, but it was just one of those things. Was like, God, what the fuck is going on with this guy? And I definitely should go back and try to find some old matches of his out there. I'm not familiar with him at all, and he's just one of those guys I've seen progress over the years. That match with Ishimori a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago. Or Ishii. Ishii. He's learning, he's developing, and you can see his body's tightening up, and he's just getting more skill. He's taking himself serious, and that he cracked on that microphone a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, this guy has a fucking voice, and it's Ring of Honor. It's early stages, and I know Ring of Honor is getting some heat right now because their talents, the Adam Coles are gone, the bigger names are gone.
NXT
But
has raided them.
That's always been Ring of Honor, though. That's their spot. That's what they're known for, and they've it's just that they're more about producing good wrestlers and shipping them out, and that's just the stage. And Punishment Martinez is a prime example of that. He's someone a year ago was probably fucking dogging on, and now I'm all like, man, I want to see this guy. I want to see what he brings to the table. I want to see more out of him. And Kelly Klein's one of one of those people where it's like I see something there, and I hope she can blossom from it.
So, what did you guys think of the Facade, the Neon Ninja, versus Eli Isom? I think did they call it officially like a top prospect tournament, or did they call it like the what is
Future of
Honor? So they kind of gave it the Future of Honor gimmick or whatever, and of course the whole thing was an angle because Bully Ray comes out. And to be honest with you, I'm watching this match, and Eli Isom's he's young in his career, kind of green himself. The Facade, the Neon Ninja thing, he was okay, but if I'm watching this and it's like these are just two guys doing a bunch of fucking spots here, like they're just running around doing spots. Some of them aren't very good. Their timing's kind of awkward, and then here comes Bully Ray to save the day. Like, this is, you guys are flopping and flying all over the fuck this shit. And so and we did get some answers to the stories. He comes out as enforcer, quote unquote, and fires these two spot monkeys, and here comes Joe Koff saying, no, you can't, we're taking that authority away from you now. You're no longer the enforcer. So we got some answers on that side of the Bully Ray character, and he officially unretires, so back to being a wrestler. So we got some wrapping, not wrapping up, but we got some loose ends tied up on that storyline.
Yo, wrap it up. That's all I was gonna say.
Okay. Where are you guys on Bully Ray at this point? I mean, I mean, we talk about it every week, but I like his heel character, but a lot of people are dogging on, like, I don't need to see Bully Ray in Ring of Honor. This isn't the place for him or whatever. And some people have go away heat when Bully Ray shows up on their TV. And to be honest, like for me, when he showed up at Supercard in that long fucking angle WrestleMania weekend, again, we talked about
that was such a bad timing, though.
So where are you guys, Joe? Where are you on Bully Ray in Ring of Honor?
I like it. I love the gimmick. I love the fact that he's attacking the young guys, going after the millennials per se, and fighting them on Twitter. I mean, he doesn't stop with his character. When it comes to Bully Ray, he is Bully Ray.
He's blocking his friends on Twitter.
Exactly. So it's just I enjoy. I like where it's going. Give him the matches. I mean, it's not like is he automatically challenging for a fucking world title right now? No, let him have his fun. It's Bully Ray.
So then the main event for this week was the Young Bucks versus the Briscoes in a tag title match. Very good stuff. I mean, we talk about it every week.
Best of the best here.
Anytime the Young Bucks are on the TV, you throw the Briscoes in there as heels.
They know each other so well.
Great matchup, fun match here. Jay has a sharpshooter. The Briscoes escape the cease and desist later in the match. Mark gets a sleeper on Matt Jackson, while Jay has a sharpshooter on Nick, so a teased submission there. Jay has the sharpshooter. I said that already. Matt kicks out of a J driller in the match.
Yeah.
But
he's won championships with that.
But it looks like the Young Bucks are going to get the win with they're going for the Meltzer driver, and Mark grabs a chair and hits Nick Jackson on the apron. So big DQ, big brawl. After the match, they double suplex Matt with the bad back onto the chairs in the middle of the ring. So working that angle, and probably going to bring this match back come Best in the World is what I would presume. So building that up for the big pay-per-view at the end of June there. Any other thoughts on this match?
Yeah, it just keeps the Bucks looking good in that heavyweight division that they're been eyeballing for New Japan too. So it's kind of good, kind of cross reference that they're doing right now.
I did like Mark Briscoe standing on the stage waiting for the rest of Bullet Club to come out
Yeah,
and help,
dude.
taking out Hangman Page
Forgot
and,
about that.
and Flip Gordon right away, but then they forgot about Cody, and he comes out, gets a couple shots in, but then they end up taking him out as well, which I thought was a nice touch, but I thought it put a little too much sympathy on a guy like Cody, who, again, a great heel, but
He's what he is.
Yeah.
It's so hard because it's like he does everything nasty, and dastardly. You want to boo the dude, but he's fucking, part of selling out a fucking arena. He's doing all this awesome shit. He's just on the ball, and it just. You go to arena, the crowd's fucking cheering him out the building, and then you go to the next building, and he's facing Matt Taven, and it just depends on who he's facing. It's just those inconsistencies are bugging me about him. It's just I want a constant boo coming from him. I want a constant nastiness from him because he's fucking so good at it. But
Ring of Honor, just book him as a heel and stop with people are going to cheer him anyway, so let's put him in situations where he's going to get cheered. Well, that's not helping the cause. If you put him
I want
out
to boo him more on being in the Elite than I do Ring of Honor TV.
Correct. Well, good segue. Let's talk about being the Elite. We touched on it a couple of times
Jay
this
Lethal.
week. Oh yeah, I forgot about.
I really hope that becomes a thing.
I'm a little worried about it because it wasn't that the TNA gimmick, the Black Machismo thing.
Yeah, but that's fucking Jay Lethal though.
It is, but I like serious Jay Lethal on Ring of Honor. Like
it's being the Elite, though.
Right. But yeah, him doing the Black.
As long as it doesn't come up on the show, like the actual Ring of Honor show, I don't care as much. But it's being the Elite. If he just all of a sudden kicks into Macho Man every time Cody walks into a fucking room with him. That's what I want.
Well, did you see what happened the week before?
See, I don't think I did.
What happened the week before, and talked about this on last week's show, of course, if you would listen to Strong Honor.
Listen to a couple dicks.
Well, you were gone.
Especially if I'm not
known
on
about
it.
A couple of dicks, just like...
What was happening, Hangman Page went to leave a room and ended up hitting Jay Lethal in the head with a door. And so it knocked Jay Lethal silly for a moment, and when Jay Lethal woke up, it was Lanny Poffo standing over him, who did a cameo on Being the Elite last week. He was talking with Hangman Page or something like that, and then so because he knocked Lethal out, Lanny Poffo is standing above him, and he wakes up and just goes, "Brother." So this week, Cody enters the room and taps him on the shoulder, and that's enough to jar Lethal, just enough to go into full on
that's hilarious.
Full on macho mode. He's calling Cody the Dream, and you're looking good. You look like you've lost some weight, huh? So, yeah, I dug that. But the big story coming out of Being the Elite, aside from those guys celebrating the All In sellout, Kenny Omega is still not opening the package from the Young Bucks. I imagine the package from the Young Bucks is where they come clean and say, we want. I mean, the whole thing about this turmoil in the Bullet Club is us wanting to see the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega get back together, happiness again, kick Cody's ass, get Cody out of the Bullet Club or whatever it is.
I think the package is full of coke, and the Young Bucks are like, "Hey, we got money from El Chapo for this All In show. We need you to fight these guys off. They're after us."
Being
and then
the
the whole season is just them super kicking the whole drug cartel.
Being the Elite is drug free, Taco.
But that's why they're kicking them in the face. They're like, "We're not part of this business."
There's a videotape of Austin Aries' package in that box.
Sorry, went off a tangent.
The other stuff from Being the Elite, the Young Bucks think Hangman Page might indeed be behind Joey Ryan's murder. And so they talk about that again, and Joey Ryan's hot wife gets mentioned again.
And Joey Ryan's ghost is all in.
There you go. And Cody, who's campaigning for a role in the Texas Senate for 2020, overhears some of the other members of Being the Elite kind of dogging on it. It discourages Cody. Cody looks sad. He's like, "Oh, those guys think I'm an idiot for doing this." So that was kind of an intimate moment with Cody, overhearing his friends dogging on his campaign possibilities. So fun stuff there. All right, let's talk about these War of the World shows. Again, I'm not going to go over everything here, but the big news is Dalton Castle is nursing an injury. Night one in Lowell, Massachusetts from a week ago. He was supposed to face Clinton Dix.
That was Matt Taven.
Matt Taven. He was supposed to face Matt Taven for the championship, but because he's injured, he can't defend against Matt Taven. So Matt Taven,
fucking conspiracy.
Again, here's the thing. This show was in Taven's hometown. Taven's cutting babyface promos. I'm getting on Taven's side in this
Hell
thing
yeah.
because now it looks like a fucking conspiracy. And Dalton Castle's promo here, he had. Again, I've harped on this guy week after week, and he had an opportunity, in my opinion, to really cut like a meaningful promo here. But he brought in the goofiness. He's like, I'm not giving up this championship. You know, he had an opportunity there. He got goofy, and then
brought out the croissants.
You know, he had this opportunity to cut this sympathetic babyface, you know, fighting spirit kind of thing. And I want to fight for you guys, but I can't. Blah blah blah. Whatever, however you would do it. But he did the typical Dalton Castle thing. He has the boys come out and throw croissants to the crowd like the fucking New Day after the promo. Again, it was entertaining. It was everything that you expect out of Dalton Castle, but it wasn't main event program in my opinion.
Glad this was at like a tour, not a pay-per-view.
True. That's another aspect of this too.
These are a little bit more laid back and kind of fuck around vibe.
So, again, getting back to the Kingdom side of the story here, it's a conspiracy, can't face off for the championship, but they end up getting a six-man championship shot against SoCal Uncensored. Remember, the Kingdom stole the belts from SoCal Uncensored. Well, they ended up winning the match, and now they have the belts anyway, which causes conflict because next week on TV, it's, what was it, the
Them against Bullet Club, SoCal.
Yep. Right, SoCal versus Skrull, Cody, and Hangman, I believe, for the six-man titles. So, again, consistency is always going to be an issue here.
Well, fortunately, they won't be coming out with the titles. It was just one of those things. Dalton Castle's injury kind of threw, a kink in there. So, they turned a negative into a positive, and I feel like they got some more eyeballs in the Kingdom that night.
They did some stuff with the Bully Ray angle. He actually had a match with Cheeseburger on this night.
That was a match?
Bully Ray he kills Cheeseburger, multiple power bombs, and then just steps out of the ring and gets in the face of this crowd member in the front row and takes an intentional count out. So just in the face of this fan, just you're fucking with him. So that was pretty much night one. A bunch of other matches, of
20-second count out too, reminder.
Correct, yes. Then night two, the story was Flip Gordon not being able to catch his flight and get into Canada on time. Again, you talked about Bully Ray winning at Twitter. He had a great tweet talking about Flip here.
Yeah. I basically get in a car, fucking rent a car, and drive your ass up there. There's a way to get up here.
Yeah, I thought Bully Ray killed it there. And then also on this show, I was expecting kind of big things out of Punishment Martinez and Jay White. They had a pretty good feud last year when Jay White was in Ring of Honor. And I thought this was a short match. Jay White, of course, got the win, retained the IWGP US Championship with the Blade Runner. But yeah, I thought a short match, 2.5 stars. Nothing great there. Bully Ray and Cheeseburger again. This time, Bully Ray gets DQ'd when he hits him with a chain after a second rope power bomb. So,
damn.
This thing continuing on.
Cheeseburger taking punishment.
Cheeseburger does
I just realized I didn't watch Night 2.
Cheeseburger does get a good punch to the dick on Bully Ray and goes for a second rope Rana, but that led to the power bomb and then just Bully Ray hauling off on him with a chain. I was also disappointed in the Beer City Bruiser versus Tetsuya Naito. Again, it was fun for what it was, but I mean, seeing Beer City and what he did in New Japan on the Honor Rising shows, I kind of was expecting a little more, but it was just kind of, it was house show stuff. So
it was house show. I thought Beer City kept up and kept a good pace with Naito.
Yeah, again, I was expecting more. So, but
okay.
it was it was what
I wasn't expecting much. So
exactly, it was expectations. I'm a mark for the Beer City Bruiser.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's show up, let's do some stuff in here with the number 2 New Japan star here. But nevertheless, it just wasn't quite there. But the big story of night 2 in Toronto was the Young Bucks versus the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
these guys had a great match. I thought it was just under 4 stars. 3 3/4. The announcers push that these guys have a past rivalry with these guys in PWG and stuff like that. These guys.
See, this was a match I was going with I don't want to say low expectations, but not much. I was like, okay, it's going to be a fun Young Buck spots, in, out, we're done. No, it wasn't. It was more than that.
It was great. Evil Uno Beal throws Stu Grayson over the post onto the Young Bucks from the ring. Jesus. Super Smash Brothers hit their fatality finisher. That near fall gets broken up. They do a Cannonball 450 combination, but then it was, of course, the Young Bucks winning with the Meltzer driver after a great finishing sequence. You think about it, the insanity of a Young Bucks match and just how they put these finishing sequences together. This held up to all of those. Great finishing sequence. The Young Bucks are rallying, by the way, or politicking, whatever you want to call it, to get the Super Smash Brothers signed in Ring of Honor. It's a visa issue. They need to have like a company sign off on their visa saying, yes, they are going to work for us or whatever, and so that's why they're having trouble getting gigs in the U.S. So really,
they're so fun, though. I believe their feud is from PWG, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
That's seeing shit like this, like, man, I gotta go back and watch some of this shit.
Then the only other notable thing from this show, Night 2, Hangman Page versus Silas Young, for the television title. Nice. Again, Hangman Page continuing to just improve in these singles matches, and they're giving him big spots in the singles matches. The story here is that Punishment Martinez attacked him before the match. Hangman Page powers through, starts the match anyway despite being attacked, and he's fighting off, obviously Silas himself, but being beat down before the match. And of course, Silas Young retains with misery. After a Page, it's a big moonsault to the floor in the match and attempts the rite of passage, but Silas counters and hits the misery. And then
that's actually a feud I'm really looking forward to, is Hangman and Martinez.
I know, that was the disappointment because I was able to see Night 3, and just the fact that I'm just like, oh, sweet, Punishment Martinez versus Adam Page. Oh, nope.
So, and then the other kind of cool thing from this night, not a ton noteworthy in the main event, but it was Evil Sonata and Hiromu versus Jay Lethal, Kenny King, and Colt Cabana took the place of Flip Gordon, who couldn't make it. And that was kind of a cool story, too, because Colt Cabana's on commentary early in the show, and then BJ Whitmer comes out and relieves him, saying, hey, they need you in the back for something. And then he shows up at the end of the show as the surprise guest partner. And they had a fun match in that spot, too. So, and then finally, the show from Royal Oak, Michigan. This is the one you were thinking of earlier with the Motor City Machine Guns. They had a really good match. I thought 3.5 stars. It was the Guns versus Roppongi 3K versus the Young Bucks in a 3-way match. I thought Sabin looked really good. Takes out the Young Bucks with a unique wrist clutch spot thing that he did. Sabin ends up tagging in Matt Jackson after Nick Jackson takes out Sabin's tag team partner Alex Shelley, which was a bit of a clunky spot, but it worked for what it was. Great late face-off, I thought, between the Motor City Machine Guns and the Young Bucks. But they gave the Roppongi 3K the win here in the match, put them guys over.
Surprised me.
Yeah, they got hit the 3K on Sabin, who's getting ready to go into Best of Super Juniors. Yeah. So I thought that was a bit of a story.
Side note, too, fucking Impact's Global Fighting Network, whatever.
Yeah.
They actually have the old Motor City Machine Guns against Generation Me from back in the day for free to watch this week. So
interesting.
Probably go check that out.
Generation Me, a.k.a. the Young Bucks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be cool, yeah. Marty Scurll won a four-corner survival match. Again, nothing big story-wise there. And yeah, that's pretty much the notable stuff from the third night, unless you got something else.
Well, like I said, the one match that I was super excited for, fucking Adam Page had to fucking ruin because he just attacks Punishment Martinez before the match, and they just sends him through a table. I'm just like, fuck, I really wanted to see that match.
Yeah, that's something they've been building up too. Like a couple of weeks back on an Honor Club show, it was the other way around. And they did the angle because Page was hurt at the time and getting ready to have the big match with Kenny Omega at the New Japan show. But they did an angle where Punishment just attacks Hangman Page and puts him through a table. And this was kind of the same thing, but in reverse. Hangman Page getting the revenge. I'm sure we're going to end up getting this match, singles match, one-on-one at the pay-per-view, best in the world. So that's probably...
Well, and we're forgetting about the biggest moment in night 3, and that was fucking Bernard the Business Bear almost going to blows with Daryl Jr.
Ooh, that was they had to bring security out for that.
Fucking Takahashi could barely contain Daryl Jr.
And actually, that was one of them. I did miss some of these matches, and that was one that I didn't see was Cody versus Hiromu.
I mean, it's your typical Cody match, but like it worked really well with Takahashi. I don't know. Like the character just worked. Everything about that match was so gimmicky and so ridiculous. But by the end, you're just. It was what it needed to be.
It's kind of what I expected it would be with Takahashi having Daryl, the business bear at ringside.
Bernard.
Like, yeah, they're gonna.
Dude, he's all fucking business.
He's all business. He doesn't even shake his ass when people tell him to. That was a big because Bernard ended up standing just off to the side of where we were sitting in the main event at the TV taping.
Not as muscular as he looks on TV.
No, it's probably not CM Punk under there, but you never know. It was Chicago, and Punk has lost some. He's definitely slimmed down since being in WWE, but there's that. So
getting off them roids.
Yeah, CM Punk, the straight edge superstar. He's got all them. Got to get off them roids or whatever. Yeah, that's one thing.
The bullshit continues.
All right, now we have to pause while I find a Kojima tweet.
I already got one pulled up for you here. It's not too far in if you just want to actually pull it up.
Give me a minute. Yeah, I got to pull it up because I got to read the damn thing.
No, you got to read it through Joe's mind.
I just... Well, you're going to edit this anyways. I am going to bed now. I will not eat bread before going to bed because it gets fat. I'll eat it when I get up. Baby. Baby. I don't know why he puts baby at the end.
Ooh. Oops, that's not going to work.
Yeah, he's adding baby on the English ones. Go back to the second one. He put it in there too. Jesus.
Don't you dare translate.
Ooh.
Zod is here. Thought he fell.
Would have been funny if he did. I like watching people fall. It's funny.
That is pretty good. I'll just wait till he gets back.
Do 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 do.
Do, 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 do.
Yep.
And Rev Pro has been put out post-match promos or whatever from their show on
adding a little bit to it
on YouTube. So yeah, I got to check those out too.
God, take fucking forever.
Don't tell me what to do.
We waited for you since we had to pause anyway. So
pause for edit.
Joe's still pulling it up.
No. Now I can't shave again. Shave that pussy.
Trying to think if there was anything else before the Kojima. I think that's it, so fuck it. All right, before we get out of here, let's do this week's Kojima tweet.
Now it's time for the Satoshi Kojima Tweet of the Week.
That's right, bread fans. Before you can go on Twitter and follow Kojima at cozy_lariat, or just tune in this week or every week to Strong Honor to hear the best of Kojima's English tweets. I am going to bed now. I will not eat bread before going to bed because it gets fat. I'll eat it when I get up, baby.
Baby.
Apparently he's been signing off with baby on a lot of his tweets lately, which I'm not mad at all, by the way.
No,
Probably
absolutely
watch
not.
some show and they do that. He's like, I like it.
So
Eats
works.
bread.
That works absolutely. So follow this show on Twitter at Strong Honor. Make sure you follow me at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Check out our other podcast where we talk about the best pro wrestling in the world, the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Next week, both this show and Best Pro Wrestling Podcast are going to be on hiatus. I'm going to be on vacation. I probably should have did this at the beginning of the show.
Surprise!
But yeah, next week I'm gone. I'm not going to be watching probably any wrestling, but Taco and Joe are hopefully going to record the Joe and Taco
A lot of faith in us.
Pro Wrestling Extravaganza. So I don't know. They're going to record their own podcast. Who knows what that's going to sound like?
Tune in or don't.
That'll be next week. And then starting in 2 weeks, we got some ideas for changing up the format for Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. So tune in a couple of weeks for that after I get back from vacation. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWB. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for checking out Strong Honor. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe, and spread the word about how great we are. Bye!
Adios.
Professional wrestling is a fight.
You gotta use a few tricks up your sleeve, if you know what I mean, a bit of the old skullduggery.
Hasta